Hey folks, I'm Tom Vassell. Welcome to Week in Review. This is where we talk about all the games that we did over the last week, or in this case, it's going to be the last 2 weeks. So all the reviews that we did over the last 2 weeks, give you a short summary of them, and then you can click the links in the description below to find out more. Let's get going. Over to Z.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Last week we put out a new Talking Tower talking about running a game night. Check that out. And then I did a few reviews. So I reviewed a game called Seals, small card game. I rate this a 5 out of 10. Feels sort of mass markety. It's a very basic little card game. It's gorgeous and the production is overall very nice, but there's not a lot of oomph to the design and it seems a little sort of forgettable and very lucky. I reviewed a game called Silk. I also rate this a 5 out of 10. This one seems like a little bit of a bigger game. It's got tiles. It's got you're supposed to be farming silkworms. Quirky theme, but it's extremely abstracted, and then there's a lot of little rules on top of that, and then you are driven to make your choices based on random dice rolls. It was not quite what I expected. I found it underwhelming, and I found it to be just too abstracted to use that theme really to its full potential. I reviewed a game called 4 Pints, Please. I rate this a 6 out of 10. It is a quirky push your luck / take that game with a really kind of charming theme. You're supposed to be out with friends to an English pub, and you're digging through your pockets for pounds to pay. You are by sometimes knocking over a drink with your elbow, and so that's bad, and you're just trying to collect a number of points. Like I said, charming game. I did enjoy it. And lastly, I reviewed a game called The Bark Side, like the dark side, but with dogs. I rate this a 6 out of 10. It's a trick-taking card game. It is based on an old concept, this idea of making sure you don't win the last trick. It's been done before. It's based, like I said, on an old idea. And it probably does that idea the best I've seen, but it's been done and it's kind of late to the party. So I'm not, I wasn't sort of blown away by it. Still a cute design. And that's it for me. I will see you on the next one.
Hey folks, welcome back to another week in review. I did 3 reviews and 3 other kind of videos for you this week. The 3 reviews were, first of all, Wing Spirits. This is a little game by Grandor Games, and it's kind of an action dexterity type of game where you're using little ping pong balls to accomplish different tasks. I go through each of the different kinds of games that you can play with this box, so go ahead and check it out. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because I thought it was fun. I usually don't like a lot of action dexterity games simply because I'm not that good at it, but these were a little bit better than normal, so I gave it a 6 out of 10. Also did another one from Grandor Games called Anecto Punch. Now this one is more of a party game, and again, I'm not that big of a fan of a party game, but this is one that you probably play a couple rounds of and then you're done. And that's pretty much what the rules state. Just play until you get bored and then move on to something else. Gave it a 7 out of 10. I did find it enjoyable. Also did another one called Les Toros del Rey Pirata, and that is basically, I believe, the Treasures of the Pirate King. This one is a little bit more of a, somewhat of a card-driven kind of action game where you're going out and you're doing different things and you're trying to collect different sets of treasure, and whoever has the most valuable sets of treasure at the end of the game is the winner. I did enjoy this one as well and gave it a 7 out of 10 too. Did another video for, this one was my thoughts on the BGG Top 10. And the reason I did this one is because I was gandering at the Top 10 just a few days ago. We do a lot of research on BGG. It's a great website, by the way. And I just noticed that there were a lot of games on my Top 100 that were on the Top 10. And that surprised me. So I decided to do a video on my thoughts on the Top 10. Also did 2 first impressions videos, and I stacked 2 of them up. I'm not going to do them that often in weeks to come, but every once in a while I'm going to give you my first impressions on some games that I'm playtesting for review. So the first impressions video that I did was on Quad Heroes and Dino Genesis. Now some of these are going to be games that I don't actually, get to review. They're games that other people are reviewing, so I just give you my first impressions. The second one is going to be Star Scrappers Cave In, Mini World War II, and Soul of the Empire from Kara Games. So go check those out. That's it for me this week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the flip side.
Okay, so for me, I reviewed Kids Against Maturity. which is exactly what it sounds like, a kid's version of Cards Against Humanity. It's just not very good. Not because it's like Cards Against Humanity, but because it's mostly fart jokes in it, and it also has a lot of innuendo, very strong innuendo that maybe kids won't get, but then why is it in the game? Good guess. This one, I'm not a huge fan of this. I mean, it's like a trivia game where you get clues as it goes by, but it's just, I don't know, I just didn't think it was very well put together. Passing Through Petra. I thought I would like this game a lot more than I did. It looks neat with these line of tiles coming through, but at the end of the day, it's just boring, really. It has a central mechanism of moving a character around, take actions, and moving stuff around tracks, but I never really felt like I had like a plan for the future. Just kind of took tiles and did stuff. Muria. This is a card engine building style game, which sounds really fun. The problem with this one is it feels half-baked in that there's very specific things you should buy at the beginning, and it's also a little longer than it should be. Most or Least. This is a party game. I probably could use better components and stuff, but it's kind of just a silly, fun party game where you have to guess, whether you would most likely do something or least likely do it, or pick between 3 options, and everyone else is trying to guess which one you will pick. I also took a look at High Tide. This is an expansion for Barnacle Bay, the Cult of Barnacle Wander, the Cult of Barnacle Bay. This is more stuff, more monsters, more heroes, and of course, I like more stuff. Spin-off. This is like a big kid-style game where you're trying to spin the ball into the middle against another person, a 1-versus-1 type thing. It was pretty fun. It's a very big game, though, kind of a convention-style game. Meowie is a game about cats that are fishing from Z-Man Games, where you are basically playing cards at the same time as everybody else, but trying to play either the highest or second highest or lowest. Maybe not, though, depending on what you're trying to win. Very simple game, but works and nice quality. Haven, this is a 2-player game from Red Raven Games. Worked really well. Nice little, slightly asymmetrical game. The city versus the forest type thing. Great artwork. Really enjoyed it. Counterfeiters. This was a lot of fun. This small little worker placement game from Quinted Games in which you're counterfeiting money. It actually comes with paper money, and I like the paper money in this game, which is unusual, but like almost a filler worker placement game. I also took a look at the Wildlands Adventure Party. This is another new group that you can add to Wildlands, another faction, or you can also play with them as they run around and attack people. Great. I like more stuff for Wildlands, so I'm very happy about this. And then I took a look at the Dixit 10th anniversary one, which has art from all the different artists that have worked on Dixit over the years. And of course, it's just a lot of cards, but I just show them off in this review. We also did our top 5 Get That Out of My Face thing. We had recorded that live at Dice Tower West. Rado and me had a little back and back. Unfortunately, the audio for that one isn't great, but if you can hear a lot of it if you watch that video. And then, of course, all other stuff, Board Game Breakfast Live, and all the different things that come out over the course of our week. Alrighty, well that's it for Week in Review. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.